Super Shorty versus the Python. Which one can claim the title as the second or third best secondary in the entire game? Let's go over some tests to see which one can qualify for that title. The first test is damage. Which one of these weapons does the most amount of damage per shot? For the Super Shorty, it has 35 damage on the base damage really. But since it's a shotgun, it has 4 pellets every single time you shoot it. And so basically we have to multiply 35 times the 4 pellets. So 35 times 4 equals 140 damage. Assuming you hit all of your pellets on an infected, which is pretty easy, like against the Juggernaut, some infected, especially if they're like really up close to you. So yeah, 140 damage is quite an immense amount. Now for the Python, the most amount of damage you can actually do, it's actually pretty complicated how it says here, but 40 to 35, and it's mainly because of units, aka the distance of infected, how far away they are, doesn't really matter. But I'm just gonna be saying the most amount of damage you can do against a regular infected body shot or whatever is 40. So yeah, you can kind of see how the Python literally gets demolished right there. The next test is headshot damage. Which one of these two weapons does the most amount of damage to headshots? For the Super Shorty, every single, or basically saying if you hit an infected with your base amount of damage, aka is just 50 damage. That's just, you know, alone from one pellet really. But since there's 4 pellets, we have to do the exact same thing we did to base damage and multiply those 4 pellets with the base damage, which is 50. So 50 times 4 equals 200 damage with a Super Shorty shot, or every single time you shoot and you hit all 4 pellets. This is extremely strong against like a Juggernaut or like a Banshee when they're really up close to you. Basically, just up close to when they're literally ripping your face off and you can literally just hit all 4 pellets easily. Now, the next, Python. So basically, let's just say, because I don't really care about the units, aka the distance of the damage or whatever the infected, the most amount of damage it can do to headshot is 110, which is, I believe, maybe the same amount for like the mini M14 or something like that. I think that's what it was called. But yeah, it doesn't really do good against the Super Shorty right then and there. But it is still a really good ranged attack weapon. The next test is rate of fire. Basically, which one of these weapons shoots the fastest to win this challenge. And so for the Super Shorty, the rate of fire is 0.28, which is pretty decently fast, but not extremely fast, if that makes sense. And for the Python, the rate of fire is 0.29. It literally gets beaten by one number. Oh, Jesus Christ, this is not looking too good. The next test is how much ammunition is in per mag. So for the Super Shorty, every single mag is accordingly 3 bullets, which is not too great for a shotgun. But hey, it is a mini shotgun, so I guess that says something. And for the Python, it has accordingly 6 bullets in every single mag, aka I forgot what it was called, but it was like barrel or something like that. But yeah, it has 6 bullets in every single mag. The next test is accuracy. Which one of these weapons is better really balanced for accuracy, and how many shots can you hit really? So for the Super Shorty, it's obviously a shotgun, so where basically your pellets are basically going to spread out a lot more the farther however the pellets go. So really, it's obviously a shotgun, and it really does only well at close range, so it doesn't really say much there. But the Python, it has pinpoint accuracy. It does what every other sniper is supposed to do. Literally on point accuracy. Wherever your mouse is on the screen, or a cursor as you could say, literally it will just hit it. If you're on console, it will hit the center cursor in your screen. If you're on mobile, you just tap wherever it is. Literally, Python is dominant in accuracy. The next test is abilities. Do any of these weapons have any abilities, such as, for an example, the hammer? You are able to basically slam the ground and stun all nearby infected. No, none of these weapons have any sort of passive abilities or actual abilities that you can actually activate, so nobody gets a point there. The next test is price. Which one of these weapons basically costs the least? So for the Python, it basically costs 325 for gold and 1500 for diamonds, while Super Shorty on the other hand costs 1050 diamonds in order to purchase it. Not rent it, but to purchase it. You can't even rent it, so that's saying something. Even though I'm pretty sure we have already done that with like the Spaz and Tommy gun. But seeing how the Python is literally cheap for literally gold, and especially the fact that right now you can literally have it for 24 hours and then pay it again for another 24 hours for literally paying only 1 penny at this day and age for everyone's bank account for coins. Literally, Python wins this easily. Even if you want to perma buy it, it's still a pretty decent option just to continuously rent it, since you're literally getting it for free every single time. So Python wins that one. The next test is popularity. Which one of these weapons is the most recognizable and common weapon you actually see in this day and age? So I would say that the most one I've even remotely seen is the Python. I've seen a lot more Pythons than Super Shorties. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say I've seen more Super Shorties, Pythons more than Super Shorties, and it's pretty easy why, because this weapon is obviously a diamond exclusive only weapon, and the Python is obviously a coin related weapon. So basically, mostly everyone's going to be going for the Python, and there's no doubt you shouldn't be going for the Python because it is a very good secondary. So Python does win on the most common, frequently seen in games. Now the next test, which is the fun scale. Which one of these is basically the best in basically whenever you're just really bored and you just really want to use this type of weapon, or just a weapon that gives you the most entertainment really. And I had used the Super Shorty in the clips you've already seen right there, and I've used the Python as well. And I do have to say that using the Super Shorty, it was kind of fun, but really it was just not necessarily the greatest, since obviously, you know, I have a hatred for this weapon because back then it barely does any damage. And yes, it did get massively buffed where it does actually do a lot of damage. I just found myself basically not using this weapon as much, and whenever I did, it either did not do anything to mostly like shamans or like a riot, and I only used it like on really basic infected, or I just never used it. Well, the Python on the hand actually helped out quite a lot, and it was mainly because if far away infected like Tanglers or like a nearby Shaman or like a nearby, I don't know, Chillers just on your way, you can just go up to the head and just snipe them easily. And once they're literally about to like I don't know, like 6 feet away from you, you could just easily just finish them off easily. And even if you don't, you could just still snipe them far away from the Python. The Python just feels like a really badass way to snipe out infected. Literally, you're using a pistol that's just sniping them all. It's basically old western style. So really, I do have to say Python is a little bit more fun, or actually a lot more fun than the Super Shorty. Now for the final test. Which one of these gives you all overall the most amount of value and benefits and advantages basically in your games? So for the Super Shorty, let's just get out of the way. I basically played it with like the Goleo and like some other random stuff, and I mostly found myself using the Goleo most of the time, even if there was like infected literally right up to me. I just felt like using this other weapons than literally the Super Shorty was a lot more, I guess, I don't know, like beneficial, because mainly when you use the Super Shorty, you either miss some of those shotgun pellets to where you only do like 60 damage, or you actually hit them all. It's just the fact that they're constantly jumping all around, and obviously you're going to be missing your shots from time to time, and you're going to be finding yourself literally reloading so frequently, since, you know, there's only 3 bullets in each mag. I mean, obviously this is supposed to be a shotgun version in the secondary loadout, in the secondary section, but still, I just didn't necessarily find myself having too much advantages with this weapon, since literally mostly infected were far away and coming towards me, and I obviously killed them all from far away using my Goleo, or I used my hammer basically on them. But the Super Shorty didn't disappoint me all the time. It just rarely actually helped me too much, and I don't really think it's that great of a secondary. I mean, yes, prove me wrong, it is still a very good secondary, in close combat. Obviously, it's just not the best one if you have like a Spaz or like an M1014, you know. And for the Python, I do say this is possibly one of the best secondaries, mainly because of its high amounts of damage and just the distance of like the bullets go, and also on just the pinpoint accuracy it goes uninfected. So basically, if you just want to get really good at sniping, you should use, I don't know, the crossbow, the python obviously, and some other random stuff. But these two weapons, or this weapon, can actually really help you to get better at sniping, since, you know, it's technically kind of like a sniper type of weapon, just in a pistol form with not as much damage in a body shot, but pretty decently high damage for a headshot, really. The python just seemed to help out so much when I was like, okay, there's a tangler up there, let me just take it out, snipe him, easy, 2 shots. Oh no, there's a, I don't know, inferno on his way, let me just take it out, snipe him 3 to 4 times, that's it, he's dead. Super Shorty, on their hand, was basically let them just get a little bit closer. Alright, now I can take it out. And you either miss your shots and then you have to reload, or you hit them, but like some of the pellets just go everywhere and you have to reload, and by the time you're still reloading your first shot, they're literally biting your ankles and ripping the skin off. Not necessarily the best, but realistically I do have to say the python does a little bit better when it comes to terms in games. There you have it. You have your winner, which is the python. So if you guys want to see any other basic verses in the future, just comment down below or do something else. I don't know. But yeah, I'll see you guys all in about 42 years and have a great game.